is Maya, if we haven't met before. Otherwise, again, welcome back. It's been a hot minute since I've posted on here. It's good to be recording again. I have no excuse. I've just been living life. Today, we will be reading a book together. We're going to be reading Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister by Gregory Maguire. Gregory is the author of Wicked. So if you enjoyed Wicked, you might enjoy this. Also, please ignore any background noise. It's daytime. The community is active. I also love unintentional ASMR. I think it's one of the best types out there, so I hope it doesn't bother you guys too much. But anyway, I'm going to read you the blurb. If you loved Wicked, we all know the story of the beautiful girl Cinderella, made to work among the ashes. But what if the fairy tale told only half the story? What fate befell her ugly stepsisters, and what curses accompanied Cinderella's looks? You will love Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. Set against the backdrop of 17th century Holland, Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister is Gregory Maguire's stunning retelling of the classic fairy tale, and a novel of beauty, betrayal, illusion, and understanding in its own right. I think we'll enjoy this. I've been sitting on this book for a little while. Let us begin. Oh. That's Gregory. We're kind of twinning. Anyway. Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. Gregory Maguire. For Andy Newman. If I could say to you and make it stick, a girl in a red hat, a woman in blue, reading a letter, a lady weighing gold. If I could say this to you, so you saw, and knew, and agreed that this is how it was, in a lost city across the sea of years, I think we should be for one moment happy, in the great reckoning of those little rooms. That's a quote by Howard Nemerov Vermeer from Trying Conclusions, Old and New Poems. Acknowledgements. For artist residencies during which parts of this book germinated and were written, the author would like to thank Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston, Blue Mountain Center in upstate New York, the Hambidge Center in northern Georgia, and the Virginia Center for the Creative Arts. Prologue. Stories painted on porcelain. Hobbling home under a mackerel sky, I came upon a group of children. They were tossing their toys in the air, by turns telling a story and acting it too. A play about a pretty girl who was scorned by her two stepsisters. In distress, the child disguised herself to go to a ball. There, the great turnabout. She met a prince who adored her and romanced her. Her happiness eclipsed the plight of her stepsisters, whose ugliness was the cause of high merriment. I listened without being observed, for the aged are often invisible to the young. I thought, how like some ancient story this all sounds. Have these children overheard their grandparents revisiting some dusty gossip about me and my kin, and are the little ones turning into a household tale of magic? Full of fanciful touches, glass slippers, a fairy godmother, the children dressing themselves in some older gospel, which my family saga resembles only by accident. In the lives of children, pumpkins can turn into coaches, mice and rats into human beings. When we grow up, we learn that it's far more common for human beings to turn into rats. Nothing in my childhood was charming. What fortune attended our lives was courtesy of jealousy, greed, and murder. And nothing in my childhood was charmed. Or not that I could see at the time. If magic was present, it moved under the skin of the world, beneath the ability of human eyes to catch sight of it. Besides, what kind of magic is that, if it can't be seen? Maybe all gap-toothed crones recognize themselves in children at play. Still, in our time, we girls rarely cavorted in the streets. Not hoydens we, more like grave novices in an abbey. At an abbey. I can conjure up a very apt proof. I can peer at it as if it a painting through the roomy apparatus of the mind. In a chamber, 3 girls, sisters of a sort, are bending over a crate. The lid has been set aside and we are digging in the packing. The top layer is a scatter of pine boughs. Though they've traveled so far, the needles still give off a spice of China, where the shipment originated. We hiss and recoil. Ugh! Dung-colored bugs from somewhere along the Silk Route have nested and multiplied while the ship trundled northwards across the high road of the sea. But the bugs don't stop us. We're hoping to find bulbs for planting, for even we girls have caught the fever. We're eager for those oniony hearts that promise the tulip blossoms. Is this the wrong crate? Under the needles, only a stack of heavy porcelain plates. Each one is wrapped up in a coarse cloth with more branches laid between. The top plate, the first one, hasn't survived the trip intact. It is shattered in 3. We each take a part. How children love the broken thing. And a puzzle is for the piecing together, especially for the young who still believe it can be done. Adult hands begin to remove the rest of the valuable Ming dinnerware, as if in our impatience for the bulbs, we girls have shattered the top plate. We wander aside into the daylight, paint the daylight of childhood a creamy flaxen color. 3 girls at a window. The edges of the disc scrape chalkily as we join them. We think the picture on this plate tells the story, but its figures are obscure. Here, the blue line is blurred. Here it is sharp as a pig's bristle. Is this a story of 2 people, or 3, or 4? We study the full effect. Were I a painter, able to preserve a day of my life in oils and light, this is the picture I would paint. 3 thoughtful girls with a broken plate, each piece telling part of a story. In truth, we were ordinary children, no calmer than most. A moment later, we were probably squabbling, sulking over the missing flower bulbs, noisy as the little ones I observed today. But let me remember what I choose. Put 2 of the girls in shadow where they belong, and let light spill over the 3rd, our tulip, our Clara. Clara was the prettiest child, but was her life the prettiest tale? Caspar listens to my recital, but my quavery voice has learned to speak bravely too late to change the story. Let him make of it what he will. Caspar knows how to coax the alphabet of an inky quill. He can commit my tale to paper if he wants. Words haven't been my particular strength. What did I see all my life but pictures? And whoever taught the likes of me to write? Now in these shriveled days when light is not as full as it used to be, the luxury of imported china is long gone. We step out of clay bowls, and when they crack, we throw them back on the heap, to be buried by oak leaves. All green things brown. I hear the youthful story of our family played by children in the streets, and I come home muttering. Caspar reminds me that Clara, our Cinder girl, is dead. He says it to me kindly, requiring this old so we can look through. Though I can't paint it, I can see it in my heart. A square of linen that can remember an afternoon of relative happiness. Creamy flaxen light, the blue and ivory of porcelain. Girls believing in the promise of blossoms. It isn't much, but it still makes me catch my breath. Bless the artists who saved these things for us. Don't fault their memory or their choice of subject. Immortality is a chancy thing. It cannot be promised or earned. Perhaps it cannot even be identified for what it is. Indeed, were Cinderella to return from the dead, would she even recognize herself in any portrait on a wall, in a figure painted on a plate, in any nursery game or fireside story?